Hi, I'm Matt McMurray with Campus Automotive in Blacksburg, Virginia. Today we have a comparison on some popular mud tires based on recommendations and comments on the other video that we did on the all-terrain tires. Mud tires have changed a lot over the years. They have a lot more technology in them than they used to have because they have to do so much more. Because now not only do they have to be mud terrain, but they also have to perform well on the road, perform well in snow and ice, perform well on slick rock, and also in mud and sand and gravel roads. So the design of the tires have changed over the years. So what I brought today was 6 of what I consider top tier mud tires. The first tire we have over here is a Falken Wildpeak MT. Number 2, Nitto Terra Grappler MT. Number 3, Firestone Destination MT. Number 4, Grappler X3 from General. Number 5, BF Goodrich Mud Terrain KM3, which is a brand new tire, and the Toyo Country MT. So it depends on where you buy. It depends on where you buy these tires from, but none of them are budget tires because they're all quality built tires. But you're probably looking at a similar lineation of what the cost structure would be. So from maybe least expensive to most expensive, depending on the size. Tires, they're not priced logically. Logic would tell you the bigger the tire, the more they would cost. Well, it's not always the case because they price the tires based on, based on demand for that tire. A really small car passenger tire might be more expensive than one of these mud terrains. So you can't really, you can't really go by the size. But most of the time, the way you see them lined up here is kind of like the pricing hierarchy that they are, depending on where you buy them from. So this is the Falken Wildpeak MT. This tire is in the lower to mid-priced range. Very popular tire. They last a long time. They got a lot of fans, particularly out west. Some of the unique features that this tire has is, obviously you can see the unique tread blocks and biting edges. We have some siping in the middle of the tread, and that's for your rain and your snow traction. Stone injectors, step tread blocks so that as the tire wears, it stays stable. This is unique on this tire. It has these ribs right here are a cooling rib. So as the tire rolls, these catch air and actually cool the tire. You don't have a big rim protector lip like you have on some of these other tires, but it does have this feature. It's got some side bite blocks on the outside. 3-ply sidewall, so it's a super strong tire. Really deep tread depth, so they last a long time. Okay tread compound, not the greatest, but again, we're on that middle to lower end of the spectrum. So here we have the Nitto Terra Grappler MT, a very popular tire with enthusiasts, particularly because of the aesthetics. Some of the unique features that this tire has is it has a little bit of siping in the middle tread blocks to give you a little more traction in the snow and in the rain. And then it has the outer tread blocks actually are separated but have an inner structure that hold them together to keep the blocks from squirming, but it lets it flex a little bit so that you can get a little more traction on hard, dry rocks and things like that. One unique feature about this tire is it has 2 different sidewalls. So depending on what you want your sidewall to like, it has one side that's very aggressive with side bites and lugs, and then the other side that's not so aggressive. You also have a robust rim protector section here to protect those expensive wheels. What a lot of people don't know about Nitto is it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Toyo tires. So a lot of times when you see a Toyo tire, particularly on the truck side, they have a similar tread pattern to what a Nitto would have. The next tire we have, Firestone Destination MT. got a lot of technology in this tire, a lot of new things in this tire. You'll notice that the tread blocks and the voids in the tread blocks are placed differently than some of the other tires, and that's mainly to increase biting edges and so it can dig more, but at the same time deliver a more stable and quiet ride on the highway. The other unique feature about this tire is these little holes here make it studdable for winter, because one of the things that mud tires are weak at is snow and ice driving, because there's no sipes. So you can see that this one is studdable and it has siping in every tread block to help with traction. These little ribs here are stone ejectors to keep stones from staying stuck in the tread here and here. It has a side biting section mainly for when you air down. There's really two purposes of these side sections. When you air down, particularly in sand and in deep snow, you actually get more traction from the balloon effect of the tire being aired down, and you can actually progress easier when they're aired down, and it kind of digs more. The other thing that it does is if you're on a trail and you're going through the rocks, these side lugs prevent the tire from getting pinched and busted. So it deflects the rock in a way where it moves the tire away to keep from getting pinched and busted. So that's a unique feature that these tires have. The next tire is the Grappler X3, which is probably one of my favorite out of all these tires. But the Grappler X3, as you can see, have a large void between the lugs. The lugs continue down the sidewall onto the side. It has an aggressive side lug so that you can air them down and get good traction off in the sand and in the deep snow. But also you'll notice that each side lug has a different height, and that makes it even more resistant to pinching. This tire has a tread compound, one of the better tread compounds, because it's got a silica-based tread compound that does really well in snow and in rain to try to compromise the fact that it's a mud tire. The other thing is, if you see all these edges of these parallelogram and you see all these biting edges, that helps to dig and helps you get out of mud. If you've ever seen this tire on any other YouTube videos, particularly the guys from Expedition Overland, you can see that they really put this tire through its paces and in every kind of terrain imaginable, and it performs excellent. It has stone ejectors, it has siping, it has grooves in each one of these tread blocks to give you more stability, but also be flexible, you know, in a rocky situation. The next tire we have is the Goodrich KM3, which a lot of people consider the best of all the tires. It's highly debated, but this tire has a lot of technology in it too. What you'll notice about this tire, unlike some of the other tires, is very little siping in this tire. And what they've done is they've changed the compound to try to compensate for the lack of siping in this tire. So it's got a even more aggressive type of silica compound just for good traction. So one of the unique features about this tire, the structure of the tire is built so that when it's aired down, it can actually conform better to a rock or an obstacle. So it can envelope the obstacle, sort of form around it, go over it, and keep going. So it can deform easily, more easily than these other tires because of that inner structure. Does have aggressive side biting lugs, probably one of the most aggressive side biting lugs. Does not have a rim protector. Certain sizes in this tire do, but this particular size doesn't. Does have stone ejectors, and does have a computer, basically a CAD design acoustical tread block pattern to reduce noise on the highway, so that you can use this tire every day. So the last unique feature about the KM3 is the sidewall strength. They really beefed up the sidewall strength. Got 3-ply sidewalls, but this is one of those times where they've incorporated some of their technology from their race tires in Baja to this mud tire. So it's a really, really tough tire. The last tire we want to talk about is a Toyo Open Country MT. Super, super popular tire, particularly out west. We haven't seen a lot of these in our market until here recently, but it's a good tire. Toyo is a Japanese company, good quality, looks very good. You can obviously see from the tread blocks on this tire that there are a lot of biting edges and a lot of the ability to really dig into that deep stuff and extract it on the way back out. It does have sipes between each, really in each tread block, to enhance the traction in snowy and icy conditions. Again, these aren't the best tires for those conditions, but they try to put some technology in to compromise on that. It does have stone injectors in each tread groove to get rid of those stones. These tread blocks are unique because they extend down the side. So we have a really aggressive side biting on the side, but this is another tire that has 2 different sidewalls depending on how you want it to look on your truck or your Jeep. You see these side lugs, these 2 pieces right here, what that does is that just helps to keep from pinching on the sidewall, like we talked about before, keeping those rocks from pinching and busting the tire. Does have a rim protector to protect those expensive wheels. Really lasts a long time, particularly in heavy applications like 3/4 ton and 1 ton trucks. So it's a really good tire. So Toyo Open Country MT is my favorite tire for those guys with heavier trucks, 3/4, 1 ton trucks, guys that are really putting a lot of heavy highway mileage on them, maybe towing a trailer. This is my favorite tire for that. Goodrich KM3 is my favorite tire for the guy who's maybe got a Jeep, one of the new JLs or a JK with a moderate lift on it that really wants to do a lot of things. Maybe wants to go off-road in the mud, but also go off-road in Moab, Utah, and some of these other places that are more challenging in different terrain. The General Grappler X3 is my favorite mud tire for everything else, because I have seen what this tire can do based on what the other guys, particularly Expedition Overland and some of these other guys, have done with this tire. This is a good tire for anyone with a Jeep, maybe a Toyota FJ Cruiser, maybe a Toyota Tacoma, Land Cruiser, somebody who really wants serious traction, but has a vehicle that has a traction management system to help them plow through deep sand and mud and everything. I also like this tire for sandy conditions, maybe at the Outer Banks, being on the sand and fishing when it's aired down. Firestone Destination MT. This is my favorite tire for the guys who really want to have an American-made tire that looks good, that's different than what maybe everybody else has, and spend a lot of time maybe in muddier terrain and not so much on rocks and not so much in the desert. Nitto Terra Grappler MT. This is my favorite tire for the guy who has a lifted truck that never goes off-road, but he just likes the way that the tire looks, because other than that, it's not really my favorite tire. Falken Wildpeak MT. This is my favorite tire for the guys who think that Falken tires are good, particularly the guys up in Portland, Oregon at Freeman Motor Company. Not my favorite tire. I probably wouldn't buy a set of these with my own money. So if you like what you see, click the little subscribe button down below and give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and any comments that you have, I'm more than welcome to answer them.